eventually. 15! All right, you beat that too. So at least people get to see the card. Good. Is that why it took so long to load? All right, whatever. Boop, 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 boop. Boom. Okay. Is that, dude? We gotta work on the efficiency of those cards loading. I like the new animated cards. Thank you. See, we learned how to install AI on our computer, and that was made through offline AI. You know, literally offline, 100%. Yeah. So now I'm not hindering the power grid. Oh God, I'm just screwing my own energy bill. How did it get here? Look at this. A lady ahead of me ordered fast food. The cashier said, that'll be $666. She said, oh no, I don't like that total. Better throw in a corn dog. This woman is an inspiration. She's out there fighting off the powers of Satan with a corn dog as her weapon of choice. Okay, here's why I feel like this is made up, because I don't know where you're getting fast food and it actually only costs $6.66. That's the problem I have here. It could be a completely true story. I'm just financially costs less than $10. Exactly. Where are you eating? You know, maybe they had a senior discount. I've only had 666 pop up like maybe once or twice. And I think one time when it happened, I was like, all right, I got to play the Satanic Lotto, you know. And of course the cashier didn't get it. They were just, yeah, $666. All right. Look at this. This is funny. Parking available in empty spaces only. Open box before eating pizza. Please don't feed fingers to the animals. Do not breathe underwater. This meme is perfect. We're not going to make it, are we? People, I mean. That's funny. Okay, are these real? Because I can't imagine these being real signs. This has got to be AI signs, right? There is no open box before eating pizza, is there? There's no do not breathe under the water sign, is there? Dude, really? Parking available in empty spaces only. Oh, gee, I thought I could park on top of the RV. Please do not feed fingers to the animals. Either my backstory is they caught a serial killer feeding their victims' fingers to the animals to get rid of the evidence. That's what I'm going with. But apparently there's a high density of serial killers here, so they had to put up a sign. It's alarming yet funny. American girl releases first doll with hearing loss. Wait, the other ones can hear us? They just made Autistic Barbie. I'm not even joking about that. That's a thing. There we go. Mattel adds an Autistic Barbie to doll line devoted to showcasing diversity and inclusion. If they're autistic on my spectrum, they don't want to be included in anything. Okay. So, how's this person autistic? Because they have headphones on and are constantly on their tablet. So, chat, you want a phone right now? You might be autistic. Got very tiny feet. Okay, let's make this autistic. Mattel Incorporated introduces Autistic Barbie on Monday as the newest member of its line intended to celebrate diversity, joining a collection that already includes Barbie with Down syndrome. There's a Down syndrome Barbie. A blind Barbie. A Barbie and a Ken with vitiligo, and other models the toy maker added to make its fashion dolls more inclusive. Mattel said it developed the Autistic Barbie in over more than 18 months. This is what you came up with? Okay. All right. Let's see how that went. Ah, God. In partnership with the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. Is that even a real group? Here's the thing. Okay, as somebody on a spectrum, I've never looked into spectrum networks. Okay. I am of the spectrum where if I'm on the spectrum, there's a reason for me being on a spectrum. And everybody else who's going to try to help me through that spectrum, fuck off, because this is my spectrum. Get out of my spectrum. This is my spectrum. You invaded my mental bandwidth, and I don't got enough going around, okay? Autistic self-advocacy program? God. Ugh. Let's see. A nonprofit nonprofit, huh? Yeah, let's check the books. A nonprofit organization that advocates for the rights and better media representation of people with autism. I feel like they just write letters every once in a while and be like, you should have some autistic person in here. The goal, to create a Barbie that reflects some of the ways autistic people may experience and process the world around them, according to a Mattel news release. All right. Let's see. Let's see how they did this. This was a challenge because autism encompasses a broad range of behaviors. It's almost like they took different human behaviors and said, hey, you're part of a spectrum and you need medication. Yeah, it's weird. It's like they took people's idiosyncrasies or quirky behaviors, as they used to be called, and labeled them so they could drug them. Anyway, wide behaviors and difficulties that vary widely in degree, and many of the traits associated with disorder are not immediately visible. They could be audible if you ask me too many questions. According to Noor Pervez. Noor? That's a unique name. Who is the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network's community engagement manager and worked closely with Mattel on Barbie prototype. Okay. Autism doesn't look any one way. It's almost as if there's many ways, Perez said. But we can try to show some of the ways that autism expresses itself. It's going to start expressing itself in about 5 minutes if this doesn't get to the point. For example, the eyes of the new Barbie shift slightly to the side to represent how some people with autism sometimes avoid direct eye contact, he said. Yeah, it's still looking directly at me. You're making eye contact. Stop it. How are you really autistic if you're staring right at me? I would say we're not big fans of eye contact. We really don't. I don't like looking at people because I look into their souls and I could read more about them than they even know about themselves. And then I process all that information and I'm like, this person is an evil son of a bitch. I got to get the hell away from them. At least that's how I approach it. The doll also was given articulated elbows and wrists to acknowledge stimming. Stimming? Hand flapping and other gestures that some autistic people use to process sensory information or to express excitement, according to Mattel. So like a person who waves their hands in excitement, that's autism. All right, is it controllable? Because as you know, and you've been here, I talk with my hands an immense amount, okay? Now, am I autistic or just Italian? There's a big difference. Every once in a while when I'm like, I hear something, I'm like, is that a natural reaction or is that an autistic reaction? Could be a tick, like a...
We thought you were just shy. Now I know you are autistic because of avoiding eye contact, lol.
Yeah, right? That's the thing. It's like, would that be quantify as just being shy or autistic? Here's the thing, because there's so many things, and because, and again, if you do have autism, I am not getting on you. We've been told we are on the spectrum as well by numerous entities. But the thing is, it's like, okay, if you don't like making eye contact, are you shy or are you autistic? Where it used to be called shy, now it's called being autistic. If you do particular hand movements, when we used to do a lot of them, people are like, you're Italian, right? Because they were notorious for talking with their hands. It's true. But depending on it, I mean, if it's like a nervous tick, and sometimes we'll do like, kind of just weird flicky things, like, but I don't know if that's considered a tick or if that's just because we use our hands a lot. So that removes us from the equation because I don't know. That's open to debate. People flailing their arms about in excitement, that's kind of a human quality. It used to be called being very excitable, or, they're really happy or stuff like that. No, I like to get into I want to see the reason, the why, the meaning, the interpretation of what, like this stimming thing. This is literally the first time I have heard that term in my entire life. Hand flapping and other gestures that some autistic people have to process sensory information, to express excitement, according to Mattel. The development team debated whether to dress the doll in a tight or loose-fitting outfit. Press says some autistic people wear loose clothes because they are sensitive to the feel of fabric seams. Okay. We like baggy clothing. Some people just like baggy clothing. Nobody likes the feel of creases because it scratches at things. Like, is that, to me, because I'm trying to figure this out, me wearing baggy clothing, is that because I'm on the spectrum or because I just like loose-fitting clothes? I don't like being strangled by stuff. I don't like tight-fitting clothes. Even if I had the body for tight-fitting clothes, I don't want that. If I've learned anything from women, they don't like bras. Why? Because they're tight-fitting. They're annoying. They're literally, it's like wearing shackles every single day of your life merely to keep up appearances. You know what they would rather do? Wear a baggy-ass shirt and just go about their day. Does that make every woman autistic? No. They want to be comfortable. God. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I don't want anything that's going to try to suffocate me. Yeah, and like, here's the thing. We've had enough places where we had to wear suit, ties, all that kind of, those really rigid dress pants and the shoes that were annoying. I don't like tight shoes. I don't even like socks. I like sandals. I'm a sandal guy. I like sandals. Thanks for the follow. And I don't know if it's because of the feel or I generally don't want my toes confined by stuff. I don't like gloves because I'm a very hands-on type person. Does that make me autistic, or I just do not like a tactile barrier? So yeah, I like baggy shirts all day, every day. See, you're on the spectrum. Your clothing preferences are disorder, apparently. I mean, if you're wearing parachute pants, then maybe I'd have a look at that. But while others wear figure-hugging garments to give them a sense of where their bodies are. Okay, that I always know where my body is. I always know where it is. I've never been like, damn it, where are my legs? I've never done that. So I've never needed clothing to indicate me. Okay, but whatever. Be a texture problem. Yeah, but then it depends on the texture. There are particular textures of feeling of fabric. But I've met quote unquote normal people who are like, oh, I don't like the way that fabric feels. Like corduroy. Who likes corduroy? I haven't met a lot of people that like the way corduroy feels, unless they're rubbing their fingers across it going, that kind of thing. So it's, I don't know. Everybody has a preference, and I wouldn't. And again, this is just my own personal take on it. So don't, take offense or, think I'm getting on anybody about it. But I feel like a lot of the personal preferences people have, like, oh, I don't like the way that feels, or I don't like the texture of this food. A lot of people have texture issues with food. Are they autistic, or do they just not like oysters? I'm not shucking an oyster, okay? The team ended up choosing an A-line dress with short sleeve and a flowy skirt that provides less fabric to skin contact. Well, you should have just made them naked. My God, what's wrong with you? The doll also wears flat shoes to promote stability and ease of movement, according to Mattel. Oh, unlike high heels that make everybody off fucking balance all the time and cripples their legs and feet. Imagine having a Barbie that actually walks like a human being would walk. That's not autism. That is comfort. My God. For every woman who likes the way they look in heels, they're fucking uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable. Okay? Yeah, they're not very stable either. That's not autism. That's balance. God. No, it's like, I get it. Okay, because it's fashion. People like it, blah, blah, blah. But I've not met a woman that is like, yeah, these heels feel great. If they do, because they're probably really drunk and they're like, yeah, I'm just not feeling any pain. Or they just got into them. But by the time they walk out of the shop into the car, they're going to be like, yeah, they're kind of like scratching at my foot, you know, that kind of thing. So, wow, flat foot Barbie. Way to go. Wow, they just like sandals, huh? Weird. I mean, they don't like having their foot arched up into the back of their knee just so they can, you know. Each doll comes with a pink finger clip, fidget spinner, noise-canceling headphones, and a pink tablet. Why is it pink? Modeled after the device some autistic people who struggle to speak use to communicate. What? Like, come on. Okay, so it comes with a fidget spinner. Okay, I know people do like fidgeting with things, so fine. Noise-canceling headphones. I have them because I don't want to hear bullshit, honestly. Get back to me when you have a hyperacusis Barbie, okay? Where the mere sound of anything shatters their head, okay? That's what I want. You have to put cotton balls in their ear 24/7. All right. The device some autistic people who struggle to speak use to communicate. So basically, you got a can't communicate here. So they're using the tablet to communicate instead of actual words. Depending on the severity of that, I feel like if, again, partially on the spectrum, allegedly, according to sources, I think if you tried that shit with your mom, where you used a notepad to convey every thought, she'd be like, put down the fucking notepad and use your fucking words. Okay? Again, different era of things. And your parents were good, so we're not anti-parent. But they would have been like, look, you can't go through life that way. Like, that would have been flat out. And maybe even if they do have particular parameters that they have to work within because if they are on a spectrum, they would learn how to negotiate through practice. If they just gave me a phone or a tablet to just communicate everything, nobody would hear me, anything out of me for the entirety of my existence. I only speak because I have to. I don't like to. Especially now. Every word that comes out of my mouth hurts my own ears. I'm not even joking about that. So, I don't know. I can function. I don't know about everybody else. The addition of the autistic doll to the Barbie fashionista line also became an occasion for Mattel to create a doll with facial features inspired by the company's employees in India. And mood boards reflected a range of women with Indian backgrounds. So basically, they're lumping multicultural whatever and said, okay, you're also autistic too. It's like, do we really need to make an Indian Barbie when we can make Indian autistic Barbie? Really? Let's see. Mattel introduced the first doll with Down syndrome in 2023 and brought out a Barbie representation of a person like type 1. Diabetes? Do I have to give it an insulin? There's a diabetes? There's diabetes Barbie? Dude, there's diabetes Barbie. I didn't know there was a type 1 diabetes Barbie. Mattel, why? It's kind of weird, right? Does it come with insulin? And when you run out, do you have to pay a gross amount of money for it, even though it only costs very, very little to actually manufacture and produce? Is that it? Is type 1 diabetes Barbie also in medical debt because they can't afford their insulin because it's grossly overpriced? Didn't the person who created that think it was such an important thing and a gift to mankind that they sold the patent for $1? Yeah, no, if you don't buy the insulin, your Barbie dies. Barbie always strive to reflect the world kids see and the possibilities they imagine. Imagine getting type 1 diabetes, kids. You know, gives you something to aspire to. What the fuck?